Heyo, hello. I'm streaming right now, even though I'm sick as heck. I'm like sick as heck, and it's like nighttime, and I woke up at 6 this morning because school just started, and I have so much to do. My classes are actually hard now. They usually aren't. I have so much to do. I have so many performances that I have to do. I'm a theater kid. I've I've overapplied myself. I've overextended myself. That's what it's called. But I have to finish writing my musical, which is being produced like right now. I'm Jonathan Larsoning this. It's like friggin' I have to write the song. I'm gonna finish writing the song the day before it's supposed to be produced. Okay. And I have to do at least, I need to memorize at least 3 different things. That's very strange. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna be watching Upon the Stair, even though I'm sick and super quiet. I'm going to be watching this. What's up? How you doing? There's We're getting progressively more into the area in the Magnus Archives where more and more episodes are on the list, like more and more and more and more, as in like I'm pretty sure we're at the point where like half of the episodes in the season, over half the episodes in the season are on this list. Let me count. So it's 81 to 120. To 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 out of 40 episodes of the series are on this list. I'm gonna cut out a few. But I'm just getting less and I'm having to go less and less time before I have to sit down and record, and that means I get to listen to the Magnus Archives less in my free time, even though I'm brain rotting about them all the time, especially Jonathan Sims. I like the more I think about them, the more I'm like Jonathan Sims. You know, he's like my whole heart goes to that guy. He's so endearing. I don't know why he's so endearing. I don't know. I'm going insane. I was already endeared to him at like season 1, even though that's like the worst season to be endeared to Jonathan Sims in. But yeah, like the more the time went on, we get to see him fucking being awkward and a nerd. We get to hear about his childhood. I'm so mad that the VOD didn't record. Okay, whatever. I reacted so well to that. I reacted so well to those episodes. Dang. Rip. If only I weren't sick and I hadn't been drinking so much water, I wouldn't have to pause between the Q&A and the next episodes to go to the bathroom and like take a break because my throat was, I acted so well to those episodes. I guess I should recap what happened previously. Dump episode or something. The traveling dump. Traveling supernatural dump. Martin is jotting it up. He's in the archives. He's tape recording. It's a statement of bloopity bloopity bloop. You know. And then what's her name? Melanie. She got a job. And Martin's like, either he's mad because she just got a job out of nowhere. But I think I would be mad because she's replacing Sasha so easily, despite the fact that we haven't found her, and Jonathan knows nothing about what happened to Sasha. Not Jonathan. I mean Martin. Martin has replaced Jonathan Sims in my mind in terms of role, apparently. But I would be mad because you're replacing Sasha so quickly, despite the fact that he's still grieving. That's awful. I didn't expect that, but I guess she was a major character for a lot of the... She was coming back far too much, to not be a major character. But I thought the same about Basira. I don't know what happened to her. Like, she quit the Force, too, so, like, what did I go with? Frick. I was gonna talk more... I guess I should recap more about the episodes, which you should have seen me you know. There's the mannequin episode. Well, spooky mannequins. Where my multiplier, oh, my headache. Whenever I move my like eyes like too quickly, it's like painful. But like, oh my eyes. Okay. But yeah, Jonathan Sims got sent the mannequin thing by Elias. But you know, it's pretty. I'm pretty sure it's Elias because he's like, I know where Jonathan Sims is every day, all the time. And who else could send him things from the archives? Like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention the fact that Jonathan Sims is literally like going crazy. He's like possessed, like for real. He like he like took his tape recorder and is like, and like the what's her name? Georgie. She sat down with him and she's like, John, you have a problem. You don't record this. Why do you have to record this? And Jonathan's like, I have to record it. And I'm like, Jonathan Sims, you understand that this is a bad thing, right? You understand that this is not a normal thing going on in your head right now. The whole I have to record everything thing. That's not like the most like normal naturally occurring thought processes in the world, you know. Jonathan Sims. We also got to see Georgie call Jonathan Sims an absolute nerd. It was like, I promise you I'm not high. And then Georgie's like, you thought that I thought that you were on drugs. He was like, I can be on drugs. She's like, oh my god, he just got absolutely destroyed. This season's doing a very good job. Someone's outside in the hallway. Okay. This season's doing a very good job of making me highly attached to Jonathan Sims. I barely in the 10. First was the childhood backstory episode, which was insane, by the way. I didn't expect that at all, which is super cool. It was super cool. I just didn't expect that, you know. That's such a cool. We just learned such a like a. It seems like a vital thing about his character. Like so, not late in the game, but like so. After so long, we learned something like very crucial about this character. It seems, or like we learned some very formative backstory about this character, and also we got his child characterization, which was godly. You know, he's just a grumpy little gifted child. What the heck? Like, do you expect me not to get endeared about this description? I'm extremely endeared. I'm ruined. I'm Jonathan Sims brain rotting all the time, every time. It's terrifying. Okay, so yeah, I'll get into the episode. The description for this one's weird as heck. Statement of an unknown figure regarding an encounter they may or may not have had in their home. Date of original statement unclear. Why are these descriptions so... I think I talked about this in my last reaction and you didn't even see it. But I was talking about how all the descriptions for this season seem weird as heck. There's like this statement of unknown figure, statement of Benjamin Hatendi, and then it says ... Hatindi regarding ... a blanket. Dead friend, monster. How he tried to hide, he couldn't. What are these frickin' these descriptions? Like, these are insane. These drive me insane. Absolutely. I like freaked out about the statement never given thing for MAG 82 eyewitnesses, because the statement never given thing was... It didn't need to go that hard. It didn't need to go that insane. Elias was insane in that episode. But oh my god, there was no need to fucking go absolutely wacky. He like, oh my god. I like the moment I realized what statement never given meant, I was like, oh my god. Like, it was... Jesus Christ. He was so mocking. It was so awful. It was like, Jesus. We got ourselves a villain, man. Okay. What is this?
Hi everyone, Ben here. I'd just like to take a moment to thank some of our patrons.
We should probably be working on something.
Prince Julian, Phoebe Siders, Aidan King, Francisco Pagana, Victoriano Vello, Dylan Morris, Thomas Carson, Zach Bowman, Sean Rossiter, Miriam Iqbal. Thank you all. We really appreciate your support. If you'd like to join them, go to www.patreon.com/Rusty Quill.
I have to move on to water. At least my throat doesn't hurt anymore. I have a headache. You can hear it, correct?
Rusty Quill presents
Yes.
the
okay.
Magnus Archives.
Seems about right. I'm not trying to block my face. I'm trying not to.
Episode 85. Upon the Stair.
Okay.
Statement of an unknown figure regarding an encounter that may or may not have happened in their home.
Okay.
Date of
Oh my
original
god, I can't be that
statement
expressive
unclear,
because
though
it hurts my
quality
eyes.
likely puts it at between 20 and 30 years ago. Recording by Jonathan Sims
Where did you get this?
in his personal investigative capacity. Statement.
I love that we've like progressed. Like he's like every episode he's like tripped up on what to say there, and then like it's like in this time he's decided what to say. Like every time after tripping up. Okay, that's funny. Okay.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to put my words to
God, the voice change. I'll never stop making fun of that in my head. Jonathan Sims is a voice actor.
Are you familiar with the work of the poet William Hughes Mearns? I assume not. Few people are. Even now, I'm not completely sure that's how you pronounce his name, having only ever seen it written down.
Oh my god, he's whispering at me.
There is one poem, however, I think you will be familiar with. It goes thus. As I was going up the stair, I met a man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. Oh, how I wish he'd go away. When I came home last night at 3, the man was waiting there for me. But when I looked around the hall, I couldn't see him there at all. Go away. Go away. Don't you come back anymore. Go away. Go away. And please don't slam the door. Last night.
Why are you rhyming?
The stair. A little man who wasn't there. He wasn't there.
This is
again.
poetry. Oh, yeah. Oh.
How I wish
He was talking about poetry. This is the poetry. Okay, I'm a fool.
It's called Antigonish, named after a town in Nova Scotia, home to the
Okay.
ghost of an old man who supposedly haunted the staircases of one of the
I didn't
Miranda
like that
homes.
poem.
For the longest time, I misread the title.
I'm a fool, by the
I
way.
was convinced the poem was called Antagonish. I thought it was a rather clever play on the word antagonist, owing to the ambiguous nature of the subject. I was disappointed then to discover it was simply a reference to a haunting. By tying it to a real place and a known story, the strange, disconcerting nonsense at the heart of it was lost. Because nonsense is what it is. It is playfully impossible. He cannot be not there, but he is, he was. And so am I. I didn't meet him on the staircase as well. The carpet didn't bend under the weight of his soft, round body, and I distinctly recall the absence of a creak as his foot pressed on the loose board of the empty 5th step. He laughed, but there was no humour in it, because then it would have had to break the silence. In the poem I always imagined a translucent figure, absent in life and body, but visible. But I couldn't see this man. Obviously I couldn't. I couldn't see him or hear him or speak to him, because there was nobody there. The staircase was empty, as he stretched his arm to gesture me closer. My memory is not what it was. Some days it seems that damn poem is all I can remember. I know I had a family.
It's one of... What?
I know I had a house. Was it in Antigonish? No, that's absurd. The man I didn't meet had nothing to do with the poem, just a coincidence. But I'm not sure what else I know now. I'm not sure where else I know now. And I'm unsure where I've ever been. I had a home, a house. I know it had at least 2 floors because there were stairs. The stairs were real. He wasn't there, but the stairs were, at least to begin with.
Huh?
It was dark when I didn't see him, and I was about to walk up to bed. I remember being cold, damp. Had it been raining? No, the water was still. I wanted it to be dry, to be warm in my bed, and I couldn't because
It's one of these
inside
episodes,
the
by the way. That's what I was trying to say before.
stairs.
It's the vague, like, mind palacey ones.
Asked others to tell me what or
Like the
who
Jane Prentice
they might or
episode.
might not have seen if that had been an option, and I didn't. So I must have lived alone. I don't know why the lights were off, but the moon was bright.
I've been looking at a lot of
Stars shadows
SCP
on the
lately.
floor were
It seems like this thing is a little
For obvious reasons, I can't
anti-mimetic.
I can barely describe his absence. I could try to say that his hypothesis was tall and wide. Conceptually, he could have had arms that stretched away from a soft-looking torso with stubby fingers that did not grip the banisters tight enough to splinter. If he had had a face, it would have been unremarkable, with a small, plump mouth that failed to quite turn into a smile. He didn't speak, so I couldn't hear his offer to join him on the staircase, but I accepted. I don't know if I was just desperate to try and get up and into my bed, or if I was generally curious as to what this man had to offer me, when he didn't even have enough wherewithal to exist. So I placed my foot on the first step, and I began to walk. If he'd been there, it might have been hard to get past his bulk, but as it was, I continued up without any problems. The staircase in my house was not long, and it wasn't steep, and it went straight up to the landing with only a single right-angle turn. It was not a spiral staircase, so after walking down that corkscrew for almost a half hour, I knew it couldn't be mine.
Maybe, just what tipped you off?
So I wasn't able to ask how it was he could always stay 3 steps in front of me without once moving his legs. I walked, and then I didn't walk, and that got me moving much faster. The walls
Okay.
didn't look like my house because
Whatever that means.
so it was hard to tell what they did look like. Eventually I must have reached the end because I woke up the next morning in my bed, and my bed was at the end of the staircase that was there, so I assume it was also at the end of the one that wasn't. The next few days are hard for me to remember because they happened, and genuine recollections slip through my mind like rippling glass. But the man didn't come back. He didn't come back every night. He didn't come back until I made a horrid mistake. I called to him. I stood on the landing and shouted at him to go away. I asked him if he was there. I demanded he show himself, all utterly impossible, of course. I was shouting at nobody but myself, and so it was into my own mind that my curses and pleas burrowed and nested. As he wasn't there, I have no way of telling how many teeth were on show when he smiled at me. After that, it became hard to tell where he failed to begin and easier to tell where I ended. People would forget me, but that was all right, because only real people care about who remembers them, and I was no longer among their number. I would have whole days where I failed to exist, a feeling so entirely alien that I am glad I had no stomach from which to throw up. And as I existed less and less, the man ceased to exist less and less, until I remember the first time he was really in my house.
What
and
the
I wished for
heck?
nothing more than that I had hands with which to strangle him.
Interesting.
Parents were the worst. They came for dinner once, shortly after I had called to him. They looked so confused when I served them their meal, and the conversations would die after only a few words. My mother's eyes were bloodshot, and I could see them unfocused when they tried to look at me. She dabbed a napkin at her mouth and asked me where her son was. I asked her what his name had been. She didn't know. She dabbed her mouth again, and the napkin came away bloody. My father said nothing, as I had taken him up the stairs an hour before, and he now lay dead in his chair, his heart unsuited for the expedition.
What?
He had sworn at me as he tried to climb them to the top, telling me I was no son of his, and I was trying to agree with him, but if I could have done so, then he would have been wrong. Eventually,
Okay.
after almost an hour descending the spiral, he keeled over in his seat and lay lifeless. My mother got abruptly to her feet and told my father that they were leaving. My father got to his feet and silently followed her out. I never saw either of them again. Eventually, the man who would never set foot upon my staircase became real enough to have done this to me. He existed so thoroughly that he was finally able to laugh at the joy of being. He looked around for me, but of course I wasn't there, and in my absence I watched the realization on his face that in reality, whoever he was, he had died decades before. And he was now in reality. He tried to scream, but his throat decomposed around the noise, cutting it short with a slough of rotten flesh and
Decomposed.
And as I stared from the empty spiral staircase, I wanted to laugh right back at him, but I couldn't, because I just wasn't there. I haven't been here for a long time now.
Oh, this is insane. This is super cool.
I try to take people up the staircase. Sometimes they make it, sometimes they do not. None of them have called out to me, though. Not like I once called out to an empty house. Most staircases are easy for me to not be on, but this one here took effort. I tried to be just real enough to talk to you. I wanted to share. I don't want to take you up the spiral staircase, so you should try to leave. I don't want to, but it's my nature now. And you can't fight what you are. Or even what you aren't. As I was going up the stair, I was a man who wasn't there. I wasn't there again today. Oh, how I wish I'd go away. Statement ends.
Okay.
There are many aspects of this statement that I desperately want more information on. There's no real way to do.
True.
There are some short pieces of correspondence in the file addressed to Gertrude from someone called Eric Delano, confirming
New
that
name.
while he typed out this statement, he has no memory of doing so, and requesting some sick leave to address persistent migraines he has developed.
Hope he's not
There's
dead.
no supplementary research because what do you research? Nonsense poem from 1922. No, I am more interested, as before, with who is sending me these statements and why this one especially is the message, if indeed there is one, seems to contradict the last one. If the moral, shall we say, of Miss Ashburt's statement was that ignoring the horror stalking you just makes them more dangerous, then surely the message of this one is that confronting them directly is even more so. I suppose that leaves skulking around the periphery, which is what I was already doing.
Jonathan Sims is dying.
There is, of course,
He's not
difference,
getting any help.
which is that this is a targeted warning about trusting Michael. Giving them the obvious parallels, swap out stairways for corridors and spirals
Yeah.
for fractals, and
I was
there you
thinking
go.
about that.
The nowhere man thing is new.
They did say spiral, and I know that
Like
exists.
I said about the spiral, it deals with fooling your senses, drawing your mind into difficult paths, making you doubt the reality you live in. Well, if this is a warning about Michael, then it is, as before, somewhat superfluous. If I never see him, if I never see it again, it's too soon. Maybe that's it. Maybe whoever sent this wants me to consider how many of these creatures used to be people. How many seem to have taken the mantle from the ones that came before them, and how none of them seem to be able to overcome their new natures. And most of them don't even seem to think like people anymore. Given that there is every possibility I've taken on one of these mantles myself, this is not an interpretation I'm keen on.
Sorry,
Or
typical
someone
man.
in the archives randomly sending me statements with no curation, rhyme, or reason, assuming they come from the archives. They're marked as Institute statements, and I have no idea who's sending them.
I'm assuming Elias, because he's the one who knows where you are.
Seeing a lot
And
of
he's made that
police
very
files
clear.
around. Maybe Leitner stole a lot of statements and had a sort of dead man's switch to...
Send them to your house?
For now, it makes
How?
sense to assume they're coming from the Institute. And they're only coming one at a time, so I will work on the belief that they are some way curated.
Interesting way to
So the current
continue
questions,
this structure,
who
but like in a different way.
and why.
Elias and to be
I feel bad
creepy.
staying put, like I might be placing
I don't know.
Georgie in danger.
To
but I
groom you
don't
as the
know where
alchemist? I
else
don't
to go.
know.
And if the increased police presence
That's what it
isn't just
seems
in my
like.
head,
Elias seems like super
I'm out tonight, okay? There should be some stuff in the freezer if you...
interested in John be coming back
just,
and him growing as a person.
I didn't want to worry you.
I knew it was something. You've been weird all day.
I'm sorry.
Jonathan seems talking to people.
We can talk about it later. I need to head out.
Yeah, you look great. What's the occasion?
I have a date.
Oh, do you need me to get out of the house?
Oh, no. Trust me. Nothing's happening tonight.
Okay.
I'm so sure.
Check out his profile.
Good lord.
Yeah.
I mean, he does know what a book is, right?
Unclear. He climbs mountains, though.
Yeah, I got that. Face to face with your own mortality on the frozen peaks, staring death in the face and saying, "Not today, dude." The man's a poet.
I never thought I'd
Why are you going
hear
on
Jonathan
again?
Sims
He
cute say that.
likes Hungarian food. And there's a place just opened.
You're serious? You're going on a date with the dullard of Skull Mountain so you have an excuse to eat a Shopska salad?
I need my sheep's cheese, John. No one else will go with me. You hate Hungarian food. Jeff says it tastes too Soviet, apparently, whatever that means. Melanie says it's too salty. Everyone I know has bad taste in food.
That's with Melanie.
Hate.
This is like an
Hold on.
extended group of friends.
Melanie's back.
You didn't hear?
Oh.
Hear what?
Yeah, she had a bad time in India. She got shot.
She... What?
Yeah, I know.
And now she's employed.
Is she... I mean, she survived.
So, I'm going for a drink with her on Thursday. Be a bit awkward if not. I'd take you along, but, you know, she thinks you're a dick.
Another startling insight from the piercing investigative mind of Georgie Barker. Is she alright?
Well, she's had a hell of a time. Figured the least I could do was get her drunk and listen to her bitch about the new job.
Oh, she found something then.
Yeah, didn't say what. I think she was a bit embarrassed. Says her co-workers are super weird.
Really?
Super weird. Martin and Tim.
Well, speaking of weirdos, I think you have a Hungarian mountain man to be courting.
Yes, I do. I'll see you later. Don't forget the freezer.
This person sounds like Ellie Shadow Lady. I'm sorry. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Ellie Shadow Lady has a great voice. That man really forgot that he was in the middle of a conversation. Hearing Jonathan Sims talk to like a friend is like so
The
strange.
Magnus Archives
in my
is a
ears.
podcast distributed by Rusty Quill and licensed under a Creative Commons
That's very nice to
Attribution
hear.
Non-commercial share-alike 4.0
Interesting.
international license. Today's episode was written by Jonathan Sims and directed by Alexander J. Newell. To subscribe, view associated material, or join our Patreon, visit rustyquill.com. Rate and review us online, tweet us at The Rusty Quill, visit us on Facebook, or email us at mail@rustyquill.com. Join our communities on the forum via the website or on Reddit at r/the Magnus Archives. Thanks for listening.
Okay. So that was a weird frickin' episode. I love Jonathan Sims doing his roomy things. #roomy things with Jonathan Sims. It's interesting. It's not as in addition to being interesting, it's also very endearing. Jonathan Sims, Bright Rat. I just like him a lot. He's just, nerd characters. Not that he's a nerd. He gives off the air of being very stuck up in some cases, especially from season 1. But like as time progresses, you get to see more of him, and it's like brain tickle. These are my favorite kinds of characters. He's tickling my brain. Okay. I just wonder, did Jonathan Sims just start like hanging out with these ghost hunter community people? Like when did this happen? Like, I don't think Melanie knew him when she walked in to their first statement. Wait, did she? Oh, don't look at that. It's the Stanley Parable wiki. Okay. What's the first statement? Skin tight. Let me look at the transcript. They never gave away that they like knew each other in this statement. But I feel like I haven't talked about this enough. But there's that it's Melanie's second statement where she's like telling John her like plan, but she's like, but this thing has your institute has, and then like he finishes her she starts talking really fast, like getting excited about this, and then John gets super excited too, and he completes her sentence, like thinking about how he like completes her sentence of like the rest of it about like the research, and like had he connected the dots in his mind too, and he's like and then I can just imagine them in that room going at each other like there was really, I'm gonna say endearing again and you're gonna kill me for it. But like I guess it's the hint that was the first hint that John was getting was personally related to Melanie. Like as time went on, like you can tell John has good relationships with these people that he keeps encountering. Basira, did he have a good relationship with Basira? He seemed like he thought he had a good relationship with Basira. I don't know. But yeah, as time went on, and like especially that I will never get over that moment where they're just being nerds at each other. Fucking Melanie and John, they slam their hands on the table and they go like, and then you can go, because we have the collections of this guy, you can connect the dots here, and it's like, and they're like exactly, and it's just two like paranormal investigator nerds thinking at each other. It's just the cutest moment. I'm sorry. People might slay me on the spot for calling moments in the Magnus Archives cute, but I said what I said. I've released the floodgates. I'm not gonna hold myself back anymore. It was a cute moment, you know. They're just being nerds. People being nerds is my favorite thing. People being excited about things is my favorite. Jonathan Sims being excited about things. Brian Tickle. It's just, I'm just so attached to his character, guys. Okay, that's the end of that. I might start, like, for real, just not stopping reacting to these bronze episodes, because, like, though this episode was cool, like, this had this whole thing with, like, the person, like, being this thing. Like, there's this person, it's like, it kind of reminded me of the, was it the gambling episode? The gambling death episode, where that guy, like, he went down, and then he gambled with death, like, one of them, and then, like, he traded places with it, he became it, and it got to live. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit, about how, this thing that didn't exist, like, started to gain existence as this guy lost existence. We learned over the course of the episode that it was a male, a son. People started dying, parents started dying, like, it was, like, weird stuff, like, it was, like, the forgetting stuff, but also the dying stuff, like, blood seeping out of your mouth while you forget stuff. It's like that whole concept of not being able to remember something. Like, the whole deal with it is that you look at it and you're like, I can't perceive this because I forget about it immediately. Like, that SCP. I feel like that's maybe where I heard that. I feel like I've talked about this before, where I've heard of something that where attention slides off it, like you can't perceive it. You can't focus on it. I feel like I feel like it's a character, but it does remind me of that one SCP where you can't, like, you can't remember anything about it. It's so funny. But yeah, it was interesting. There was, like, the whole meeting people upstairs worlds thing. Michael moment. Was it a Michael moment? Now I'm thinking. Because Jonathan Sims said, like, how many of these creatures that we're fighting are actually people that have been corrupted by these concepts? Like, and they become the mind states have been so altered by these forces that they no longer think like people. And every time Jonathan Sims or anyone references the fact that, like, he's fucking been claimed by this, like, freaking eye entity, I go wacko in my head with, like, it's like a pinball machine going and, like, thinking about all the plot implications of that. Okay, there's that. Jonathan Sims. Yeah. I'm thinking about how all these things started, some of these things, how many of these things started as human. I'm thinking about Michael. Do you think this is implying that Michael started as human, or even that this is Michael in some way, or something? Interesting. But that was a really cool statement. I think I even liked better than Jane Prentice's one, even though Jane Prentice's was all freaky, weird, bug brain stuff. Like, this one was cool. It was, like, the whole, like, the like, vagueness of it, and how it can't describe it. I love it when, like, things try to get close to describing it, but you can tell that it's just indescribable, because the way it's described doesn't make any sense. Like, I love when they do things like that, and I love when things do things like that all the time. Because that's what happens when you deal with beings that are indescribable. And I love beings that are indescribable in fiction. Cosmic, I don't particularly like horror, even though I'm listening to this podcast. I don't find it that scary, actually. I just like the big, good world building, cosmic world building, you know? I just like cosmic worlds with, like, worlds with cosmic beings, you know? So that was a cool episode. I'll try to listen on my own time. Goodbye. So yeah. Bye. Signing off into the next dimension. Goodbye. Hello. I have schoolwork to do, even though it's so late and I want to sleep.